I am reading this article from my blog, link in the description. Why it is important to pray in tongues before going to bed. Before I get into the article, a quick mention. I have a shop selling t-shirts with custom speaking in tongues quotes. Link is in the description. The habit of praying in tongues before going to bed is good. As believers, we are called to pray without ceasing. We are also required to be vigilant in the spirit because our enemy prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking anyone to devour. When we go to bed, our bodies rest, but our spirits stay active. It is also when we are asleep that the enemy comes to plant weeds. This means that we need to prepare ourselves spiritually before going to bed. Praying in tongues before going to bed is the best way to secure your spirit at night. What praying in tongues before going to bed does. When you pray in tongues before you go to bed, your spirit is empowered. The Bible tells us that whoever speaks in tongues edifies himself. The edification nourishes and empowers your spirit. With your spirit empowered, you'll be able to counter the attacks of the enemy that he throws at you when you are asleep. Going to bed with an empowered spirit also means you are open to experiencing heavenly dreams and visions. Did you know that if your spirit is weak, you can only experience low-level dreams and visions? But if you charge up your spirit by praying in tongues before going to bed, you position yourself to experience high-level dreams and visions. Because praying in tongues opens up your spirit to heavenly activities, the dreams you experience are clear and you don't forget them after you wake up. There are times when we get dreams from God, but we forget them after we wake up because our spirits were not alert. The alertness of your spirit can be sharpened if you pray in tongues before going to bed. When you encounter evil spirits in your dreams, if you prayed in tongues before going to bed, your spirit will be strong enough to fight them off. I have experienced dreams where I was beating up demons and chasing them because I had prayed before going to sleep. I have also experienced dreams where demons overpowered me because I didn't pray before going to bed. Praying in tongues before going to bed is very important for any serious believer. When you are asleep, your spirit survives on the strength that you gave it before you went to bed. Would you ever go to war without weapons and armor? Then pray in tongues before going to bed. Praying in tongues before going to bed to secure gifts from God. When King Solomon went to sleep, he had a dream. In the dream, God asked him what he wanted. King Solomon asked for wisdom, and when he woke up, he had wisdom. God can give us gifts in our dreams, and the devil knows it. As a result, he targets to steal gifts that God gives us in our dreams. Anytime you go to sleep, you have an opportunity to receive gifts from God. The gift can be something tangible or it can be information that you need. God once showed me in a dream that a certain girl that I was seeing had a secret boyfriend and he had gotten her pregnant. I woke up shocked and it was hard to believe. A month and a half later, it turned out to be true. Was that information not a gift? I would have blindly ended up in a terrible situation, but God had mercy on me. What was the secret? I used to pray in tongues before going to bed. The tongues kept my spirit alert when I was asleep, and I could get information from God. Blessed be the name of the Lord. There are many answers to our prayers that God gives to us in our dreams, but because our spirits are not alert, the enemy steals them from us, or we forget them by the time we wake up. The habit of praying in tongues before going to bed secures all gifts and information that God gives you when you are asleep. When you don't feel like praying in tongues before going to bed. Let's be honest, praying in tongues before going to bed is not easy. By the time you want to go to bed, you are usually tired, and in most cases, everything gets postponed to the next day. I have postponed praying in tongues to the next day many times because I was tired. But as you would expect, I didn't like the outcome. I got attacked in the dream and I had to wake up in the middle of the night to pray. There was a time I couldn't sleep past 4 a.m. unless I had prayed in tongues before going to bed. Devils would attack me with all manner of things: snakes, seductive women, dirty images, etc. Sometimes I would wake up and pray a little, but because I was tired, I would go back to sleep almost immediately, and the same thing would happen again. In one of the dreams, I remember a snake would come to sleep on my bed. I will push it off, but it will climb up again. It bothered me until I woke up. The snake was not biting me, but only disturbing me. When I was at a lower spiritual level, snakes used to bite me. What is the point here? Push yourself to pray in tongues before going to bed, even when you don't feel like. If you don't, you will pay the price later on in the night. Praying in tongues before going to bed. Conclusion. Praying in tongues before going to bed should be on the to-do list of every serious believer. We are in a constant war, and the devil will not relax because we are asleep. In fact, the devil targets us when we are asleep. He knows that we are vulnerable in that state. As wise believers, we can secure ourselves by praying in tongues before going to sleep. There is no specific amount of time that is demanded of you, but just know that the more you soak in tongues before going to bed, the stronger your spirit will be when you are asleep. The deepest spiritual encounters I have had in my dreams happened on nights that I had prayed in tongues before going to bed. At one time, I was very consistent, and I will get heavenly dreams on a daily basis. I will remember all those dreams, and I will wake up full of joy. Of course, I am working to regain that consistency. Do your best also. Peace.